What's going on, everyone? Welcome to Season Gaming Bitcast episode 103. Happy Friday morning, semi-morning to you, maybe early afternoon. Got myself, Ainsley Bowden, who you know well. We've got not Ainsley Bowden joining us below. I think he goes by Dan sometimes. I don't really know.
Yeah. Not on this show, boys.
Not on this show. And then, of course, joining us for the first time, one of the gentlemen I respect, met him last year, became friends with him. Boom. How are you doing, sir?
Dude, this isn't a long time coming. I've had you on the show numerous times.
Yeah.
We have to get not Ainsley on the show eventually. And this is great, man. It's a great way to spend a Saturday here in New York. It is a very delicious 67 degrees, cool breeze, nice, lots of sun. And you know what? There's a lot to talk about. So this is going to be one heck of a show.
Yeah, and I think I told you we've been talking for a while about getting you on, and we just started going live a few weeks ago and getting the kinks out, so we're still learning, but it's been a lot of fun. I appreciate you, helping us out with going live because I kept reaching out to you and bugging the crap out of you.
That's what we're supposed to do, right? No, absolutely. I mean, listen, listen. The thing I think that stands out for both your channel and my channel is that we built these channels on the ideology of community. And in that community, even though we're podcasters, we are still a part of it. So it would be almost unthinkable not to help one another, especially in a new program. And I got to be honest with you, considering that I'm mostly a boob, especially with technology, this was great and made me feel good. I'm like, oh my God, I actually know something and I'm helping you out. So guess what? It was a win-win for everybody.
There you go. Yeah, so I appreciate it. We've got a whole lot to talk about. I think I told you a couple weeks ago, I was like, I'm going to have you on soon, but I wanted to wait for a decent week in terms of news. And well, this week was a good one. So we got a lot to talk about. So before we do that, though, as always, first-time guests, we want to talk to you a little bit. And, I kind of gave the background of last year at E3. It was your first E3.
Yes.
And, hanging out with the Lords and Dave and Cog and the guys. And we were all part of FanFest and got to meet you for the first time. And I knew you on Twitter and knew that, your channel and community, of course. But it's always different when you get to meet someone in person.
Yes.
And so we hung out and chatted. And I think you and I were just, getting to go to the Xbox event again and conference and FanFest, and it's an experience. And
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, sorely gonna miss it this year, but it was great getting to know you. And even, like I said, I wore the FanFest jersey from last year from when we met, just for the hell of it. Because I
got my Modern Warfare shirt going on. I'm gonna be playing some Modern Warfare later today.
There you go. You playing Warzone?
I don't. I tried it, and guess what, man? Those are just not my bags. I like my single player experience.
Okay, fair enough. Hey, Dan, what shirt you got on today?
This is the interplanetary something.
It's a Star Trek?
No, it's the Mass Effect. Sure.
Oh, Mass Effect. Okay, yeah,
Very
nice.
Very nice.
It's in the Alliance Academy.
We won't talk about Andromeda today. We got other stuff to talk about. But so Boom, like I said, let's talk a little bit about what you do. I know some of the people watching, probably most of our community knows who you are, knows your shows. We were just joking. So I know you have primetime gaming on Monday nights, 8 p.m. Right. And everything's Eastern because you're out of New York.
Yes.
So 8 p.m. Monday nights, primetime gaming, which I've been on. Xbox Factory, you've got Thursday nights, Thursday at noon, 12 p.m. noon.
Yes.
And then Breakfast with Boom at Friday mornings at 10 a.m. And then you just told us that you're now starting a fourth show as well.
Yeah, the fourth show came about as we were talking privately. As a former first responder, I always wanted to be that guy that helped out. When I was a young police officer, my training sergeant told me that you have to, in order to have a successful career, you need to do one helpful thing per day. And if you add anything on top of that, then you're doing your job as a police officer. So that's what I wanted to do. And because I had to retire due to a spinal cord injury, I started my YouTube career very, very late, well into my 40s, and had no idea it was going to be successful. And this amazing community not only has accepted me as former law enforcement, which, can be tough. But building my channel, I wanted to be very forthcoming, very clear on where I came from, which of course I didn't grow up rich. I originally, came from the projects, and my parents built me up, and they built themselves up, and here we are today. And in order to help in a time where people are looking for content that are nervous or have a tremendous amount of anxiety or just want something fun to listen to kind of get away for a couple of hours, I decided to add that fourth show because not only has the writing, which takes me about 10 to 15 hours per week just on the writing and reading alone, it actually calms me down because it gives me something to do. So in turn, it's my way of helping and still helping the people, but just doing it from a gaming point of view.
It's awesome. It really is. It's awesome. I mean, we were just talking about it prior, but one of the things I admire about you, and I got to know about you as I got to meet you and learn more about you, is just you're very passionate. And I greatly respect that because I think the people who know me, the people listening, know how much time and effort I put into this stuff. I live and breathe it every day. And seeing someone who puts that much effort and time into their shows and community, and it's just friendly all the time. I never see you getting negative about something, and I love that.
Thank you very much.
I love that. So it's awesome. So let's real quick shout out, and I'm not going to pronounce this properly, but is it L?
Elemental PO.
Okay. Thank you. Appreciate the super chat, guys. Carl, appreciate the super chat. That's awesome. In fact, Elemental PO, that's the first super chat on the Bitcast since we went live. So
nice, dude.
Big shout out to you. Appreciate that. Welcome everyone. Carl, the guys, Matt, Diego, all null in the chat. Z Black, good to see you, man. So great to have you guys. So let's talk a little bit about your gaming history, Boom. So I do my research as always, right? And I don't have the intros nailed like you and Cog. I don't even try because when you've got two people on these pedestals, it's not even worth trying to climb up there. So we'll just talk about your history. But I know on your site channel intro, you talk about, and you've already said you're a little older, which is great. Obviously a seasoned gamer, but you mentioned that you first got into gaming with the Atari 2600.
Yes, 1978.
Yeah, same as me. And Dan, were you Atari 2600 as well?
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, it got most of us, right? If you're a 70s kid, the Atari 2600 was it because we were a little older when the NES came out. But so you've got Atari 2600, Boom. And then, you've also said, obviously, that you love and play everything, which we talked about. Sure, Xbox is your primary, but, owned and play on everything. So let's go back a little bit. Growing up, after Atari 2600, how was it from there? Were you Sega kid, Nintendo kid? What'd you really get into?
Okay. For my 15th birthday, my mom and dad surprised me with the NES. It came out in 1985.
Yeah.
And shortly after that, Sega Master System was released.
Yeah.
And, my dad used to give us $5 a week for allowance. Okay. And, back then things were cheap. Now, I had a lot of interests when I was a kid. My one love was G.I. Joe. The 3 and 3/4 G.I. Joe. So, back then I think they were like $2, maybe $2.50, somewhere around there. So, the $5 allowance just wasn't enough. It just did not cut the mustard. And, my dad was a blue collar guy. Mom would stay at home. She took care of me and my brother. And so what I used to do is I used to take that $5 and I used to then go to a bakery, an old Jewish bakery. They used to sell the penny candies for like a nickel, 10 cents, and I would spend my $5 on quarter drinks by the case from Pathmark, which were like $2, yes. Right? Yeah. And I would buy $3 worth of candy, and I would take a couple of crates and a couple of cardboard boxes and make a candy stand and a juice stand, and I would make $15, $20, $30 off the $5.
So you were hustling out there.
Oh, I was hustling back then because gaming was expensive, and so that's, believe it or not, how I afforded to save all of my monies for, like, I got to say, I'll put it to this way. This is going to sound incredible, and maybe some people will not believe me, but there has not been, since the Atari 2600, a console launch that I have missed in the history of gaming to present. From 78 to present, I've had every gaming console you could possibly imagine.
That's awesome.
So I was always a multi-plat kind of a guy. even though during the Sega does what Nintendo don't era.
Yes.
Right? If we remember that.
Oh yeah.
I bought the Genesis with Altered Beast, Tommy Lasorda Baseball,
Classic.
Space Harrier, Super Hang On, all of those games. But at the same time, those were Sega experiences, but I still needed my Nintendo ones.
Of course.
So I mean, I still have I'm not sure if anyone even knows what I'm talking about. A Galoob. Listen to this. Vectrex.
Oh, I know Vectrex. I had one.
I still have one. It works.
You still have yours?
Yeah,
That's awesome.
13. I have 13 games for it. It works. I don't have the plastic sleeves because it was black and white. It was very, very generic. You had to put these plastic sleeves over the screen to make it color. It's hilarious.
That's true. You did? Yeah, I remember that.
But I think that my ideology behind supporting everything other than PC, because I'm not a PC gamer. It's just not my thing. I enjoy each console for specific things. Xbox is where my main play is. All third party gets done there because it's the best place to play. I like my Elite controllers. I like my friends list, and more importantly, I like my achievements. I'm closing in on 300,000, hopefully by the end of the year. But I play. I enjoy Sony's machine just as much. But I play there for all of their exclusives, which are right up my alley. It's a single player, story driven, adult themed game. Those are what I really live for. And Nintendo. Well, listen, I'm always going to be a Nintendo kid. So whatever they put out, I'm going to buy.
Yeah, we talk about Nintendo all the time, and they've got our entire generation from a nostalgia standpoint, right? They just have. So, guys, appreciate the super chats. Matt, what are you doing? We're not worth $20. Have you met us?
We're not worth 20 cents.
I got to tell you, Matt Burns is not only
but super appreciated.
Oh, Matt's awesome. Yeah, no, big shout out. Mocha Smiley, $2.99. Thanks, man.
Mocha. Yes, great dude.
Yeah, you guys good to see you. Dizzy, welcome. All you guys, great to see you. We're really not worth this kind of money, though. I'm just gonna put it out there. All right, so I got a couple of rapid fire questions for you, Boom.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
So let's go. So if you had to pick one console all time, what's your either favorite or most memorable console?
The Sega Dreamcast.
Woo!
Hands down.
Dreamcast guy.
Hands
All right.
down. I have 2 of them in storage with 87 games. I have a Japanese and I have the American one that came in black after the original launch. That launch lineup in 9/9/1999.
I was right there with you. There with you.
Was one of the most stout and impressive game launch lineups in the history of gaming.
Loved it. Yeah, I mean, really did. I was in line for it. I had just turned 21 years old. I turned 21 on September 3rd, so 6 days prior.
Nice.
And I remember lining up at KB Toys and grabbing my Dreamcast with Soul Calibur. And was it NFL 2K?
Yes.
Or no. God, NFL 2K, which was fantastic.
Hydro Thunder was one
of them.
The boxing game, Soul Calibur.
Ready to Rumble.
TKO, yes. TKO. Yeah. Oh, dude. Ready to Rumble. It was the Soul Calibur, which was unbelievable.
Yeah, it was mind-blowing at the time. Yeah, we've talked about that before. It's like when Battle Arena Toshinden launched with PlayStation 1 in 95.
Oh, yeah.
Then Soul Calibur just took it to a whole nother level. So that's awesome, man. That's awesome. So favorite game all time?
Resident Evil 2.
Okay. Oh, yeah, that's right. I know you're a big Resident Evil fan, so that doesn't really surprise me.
Say this. Resident Evil 2 98 has been in the number 1 slot for 20 years, right? Easily 20 years. Resident Evil 2's 2019 has officially replaced it, where now it's back to back. So 1 and 2 all time is Resident Evil 2 19, and then right after that 98. Okay.
All right. You excited for the RE4 remake?
I cannot wait for it. I'm hoping that they take some of the criticisms that they took from 3. 99 RE 99 and 3 was there was a lot removed in the one that we just played this year. More specifically, like the clock tower. One of the big bosses, the Gravedigger, was removed.
Okay.
Some of the abilities to create different kinds of rounds ammo was taken away. I think that was one of the big criticisms, that they felt that the game was too short because these things were taken away. And I hope that Capcom listens. If they want to make a 1-to-1, that's fine. Don't add anything, but just don't take anything away from RE4.
Yeah, that's fair. Yep. Cool. And then I know this can go for a while, but real quick, what's your favorite or most memorable moment in gaming?
That's easy, super easy. It was my brother, Neo Mental, and he had. We were working. We were both working. I believe I was a rookie police officer. My brother was still the manager at Funkoland in Yonkers, New York.
Yes, Funko.
Okay,
Nice.
and he had sold. You know, when you're growing up, you're gonna sell everything but the kitchen sink. He was selling wires from old consoles to for the PlayStation. And I'll never forget one of the most memorable moments in gaming for me is we were at his house, and it was me, it was him, and about 15 of our other friends. And you know how, like in the movies, where when something happens, everyone falls back. Well, we were all huddled around a 27-inch CRT TV and playing Resident Evil. And when the dogs broke through the window,
Yeah.
the first time, we all of us, like almost like the little rascals, fell backwards. And everyone's yelling and legs are going flying in the air, and people are rolling around on the floor. It was, I'm talking about it, I have goosebumps. I honestly have goosebumps from it. That was one of the most, because it was with my brother, and it was one of the most memorable times I think we've ever had for gaming.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think everyone remembers that moment because Resident Evil was a surprise monster hit, and you get in and those dogs just scared the crap out of everyone. All right, let's get into some topics here. So topic with the chat real quick, and I think you talked about this on one of your shows this week too, but I figured we'd just touch on it, is the speculation on the initiative and what they're working on. And, kind of it started to gain steam that they're working on rebooting Perfect Dark.
Yes.
And we know that, it's one of the kind of signature IPs that Xbox Game Studios has in its portfolio. The weird thing about Perfect Dark to me is I really enjoyed the first Perfect Dark, but it doesn't even have the best history, right? It was a Nintendo 64 title after GoldenEye, and then Perfect Dark Zero was a launch title on 360 and kind of landed flat, and that's it. I mean, there's really not much more to Perfect Dark, but I think what excites people, especially me, is the opportunity there. There's so much opportunity for Joanna Dark to be a huge character, and I've said before, kind of like Aloy has grown into for PlayStation. And just the spy genre, right? Where we talk about Splinter Cell all the time, waiting to see it. But yeah, so this came up. If you want to aware why this speculation gained steam, it's because someone that worked at the initiative put on his resume that he designed and scripted various weapons, gadgets, and a camera surveillance system for an unannounced project. And then, of course, Jez, who we all know and love, he kind of teased it too, though he did say it's just the prevailing rumor at the moment. So your guys' thoughts, I know, Dan, we've touched on this a little bit, but are you excited if they take Perfect Dark and really turn it into a brand new AAA game, hopefully big AAA game, or would you really prefer the initiative and the talent that they've gathered? And they're making multiple projects from what we understand, but the development staff that they're possibly putting on Perfect Dark, would you prefer that to be a new IP? Dan, why don't you kick us off, Dan?
Okay, yeah. No, absolutely not. I want something new and fresh. I like Perfect Dark for what it was back then, but I want to see some new stuff, and not only from them, from every studio except for Fable. They can reboot that. That's fine. From Microsoft, I'm getting to the point now. And I don't know when this started, maybe 10 years ago, where everything, including movies, games, everything's getting rebooted. It seems really lazy to me.
You tell me you didn't love that new Ghostbusters?
I actually quite enjoyed it, but that's okay.
For what it was? Yeah.
Which one? The one with all the
Saturday Night Live girls.
Yeah.
Oh no, that was terrible. That was all right. So I want to play a game. If they do a good job, I'm if they've got multiple IPs they're working on.
Yeah.
This is like a smaller team maybe that's working on this. Doesn't have to be done immediately, but I really, really want to see something fresh. I think a lot of people want to see something fresh from Microsoft. That gets away from your main 3 or 4 games, and see something big. And because if we the rumors are correct, then Fable is probably coming out, or Playground's working on that. you've got all these other studios. A lot of them aren't going to be making these big AAA games probably right off the bat. So the ones that do come out, I want them to smack us right upside the head. And I don't need to, I mean, like I said, Perfect Dark it's fine. But like you said, it kind of fell flat when the release. The last one did anyway. And it's just, I think there's, with all this talent, you can do so much stuff.
Yeah.
And to go back and just grab something, because I mean, I don't understand it. I've never understood it. I don't like the whole reboot stuff. But then again, you look at something like, God of War, where they came out and they did something completely, they took that IP, but they completely
different game.
Right. Yeah. If they did something like that, I'd be interested in that, but
that's what I'm hoping for, right? Is like a big budget Splinter Cell type game, but with Joanna Dark and the British, kind of angle on it, if you will. What do you think, Boom?
Well, I mean, look, here's the thing. First of all, I talked about it on the Xbox Factor podcast last week. The issue at hand is that Joanna Dark is a character that had a game come out 20 and 15 years ago, respectively. And Daryl Gallagher, who is the head honcho at that studio, is in a position, again, to reboot a female-led character the same way he did with Tomb Raider. Now, I'll admit that the trilogy is may not be perfect to a lot of people. Like, for instance, for me, the weakest of the three was the last one.
I've heard that from most people, yeah.
For me, still to this day, the best one is Rise of the Tomb Raider, which is the second one. Yeah, still fantastic. The best one. I put that in high praise right next to Uncharted 2 as my two favorite adventure games of all time.
So, Boom, not to interrupt you, but Dan hasn't played Uncharted 2. He's only played 4.
I played 1, 4. I played part of 2, and I didn't even try 3.
You gotta keep playing 2, man.
Dated.
Yeah, 3 was the weak one. I would definitely say give 2 a go around. I've beaten it 3 times. Once on the PS4, twice on the PS3. Absolutely adore everything about that game. That opening train scene still is one of my favorite openings for a game. But getting back to this, the reason why I think there's relevance to Joanna Dark is for a couple of reasons. One, Splinter Cell and Sam Fisher have been absent from this generation for its entirety. That's 7 years without a new Splinter Cell, which is absolutely absurd on every level. And it's a genre that has not been really worked to its favor. And more importantly, Joanna Dark, again, is a character, in my opinion, that if done the same with the same TLC that Lara Croft was shown, and I believe Daryl Gallagher is going to bring that to the table, we could see another pillar holding up the Xbox future, because not only is she going to appeal to the female gamers, which by the way is at 48%. If you're wondering how, the status quo with how many males versus females are playing, it's 40. The last check, at least the last time I checked, was 52-48.
Yeah,
48%. 48% of gamers are female, folks. They count. They matter. So having a strong female lead is important. That's, again, you can take it in any direction you want. I'm just saying, as a gamer, I love the female lead, just like I feel like I have a strong opinion about Aloy for Horizon Zero Dawn. She's one of my favorite characters and IPs, for that matter, that Sony owns. So to see Joanna Dark come back in a big way is important. But and to take it another level, this isn't going to be your dad's Perfect Dark. This is going to be a third-person stealth action adventure game that is going to be done with graphics unseen anywhere. So to know that team has you got to look at all of the people that have come over to the initiative that worked on God of War. Now, God of War, 2018 Game of the Year for a good reason, that game went from just being a regular hack and slash type of a game and a character with no personality other than being an a-hole to caring about Kratos and his son and learning about his wife and what happened after the whole Greek mythology thing and moving into Norse mythology. I can see them doing so many incredible things with Joanna Dark. I got to be honest with you. I'm super stoked, but I like Dan was saying, like you were saying, I believe as well. They have multiple projects. This team is too packed with talent to only be doing one. I guarantee you they have 2, possibly 3.
Yeah, no, I'm completely with you, and that's my mindset as well. Is it's been so long since we've seen Perfect Dark be meaningful in any regard, and the potential for that Joanna Dark and that IP is just huge. So I hope we see it. But to Dan's point, love new stuff too. So welcome Jordan, welcome Sergeant Tom, Badass Lord Tipsy, welcome. Good to see you guys here. So let's move on and talk about we're going to get to the news and we'll get to Assassin's Creed in a moment. I really quick want to give a shout out, and I know a lot of our regulars are in the chat right now, and I wanted to do it on the podcast because we have some listeners as well, just on the growth of Season Gaming. So it's May 2nd, kind of was looking over things yesterday, and it's unbelievable. So we have grown, the site traffic has grown month over month for every month in 2020. Wow. April was the highest traffic month the site has seen all time. So since I started the site in 2015. Thanks, dude. In fact, Diego, our friend, made this little infographic I'll throw up. We obviously did Bitcast 100, and now we're doing a live show. So thank all you guys for joining us. And then our YouTube channel is growing the fastest it has since E3 last year as well. So just unbelievable growth. And just, again, we want to thank you guys because it is amazing and awesome. And I don't know why you guys keep coming back, but I appreciate it.
You know what it is, dude? You guys have a great show. You have to give yourself credit. You guys built this on positivity, just like the Iron Lords, and just like I built my show. And I think that we're all three programs are reaping the rewards of putting out something that has been frowned upon by many people. You know, a lot of people use hate and poking fun at other consoles. Yeah, console nonsense to build their channels, where we do it from a perspective and ideology of just coming here to have fun and talk games. Sure, you can talk about a serious subject and have an opinion, but to build your channel based on hate is where people, I think, go wrong.
Yeah, well, and sites too, right? So we see so much out of these big mainstream. I won't mention Kotaku and others that just run nonsense and drives us crazy. So when I see, and I think Nick over at who writes stuff for Lords, I think he mentioned something like Lords are seeing big growth as well. So to see your channel growing, Lords growing, us growing, it's awesome. Yeah, it's awesome. Support the smaller guys who are doing this for the passion.
Yep.
So, all right, let's move into the biggest unveil of the week, Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Super, super excited about this. Boom. I don't even know where you stand on this game, but we're going to talk about it. So we got an amazing 3.5 minute or so trailer this week. All kinds of details. And I'll touch on a bunch of these. We'll go through, but we got the trailer, got collector's edition. The Hidden Blade is back. It was Vikings. Pretty much all the rumors that we heard ahead of time turned out to be true, which excites me even more because it means it's going to be an even deeper RPG, deeper loot, deeper combat, bigger world. I mean, I'm just overly excited for this. And I'm not even really an Assassin's Creed guy, but I know how good Odyssey was. And to think about what they are going to do with Valhalla, especially now on the Series X and PlayStation 5 as well. Yeah. It's just mind-boggling to me. So Boom, Assassin's Creed. You a big fan of the franchise? What you think? Have you played Origins, Odyssey? Are you into these games?
I've put over 200 hours into
So you
Odyssey.
Barely touched it.
Yeah, no, there's so much more to go. I'll say I've always been a fan, huge fan, but I think what really pushed me over the edge of madness was Origins. Okay. I love the change of direction where it became more action RPG-esque, if you will. And Odyssey is a modern day masterpiece. And I'm going to get some boos for this, but I don't think I deserve it. I would put Odyssey shoulder to shoulder.
Careful now.
Okay, get ready because you're not going to like this. Witcher 3.
Shoulder, damn it. Boom.
I know.
We were doing so well. We were having a good time, you know.
Listen, I'm an honest dude. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes I'm brutally honest. But listen, I know you're how you feel about The Witcher 3, but the game just keeps giving and giving and giving. And the fact that you can attack this from two different, both a male and female perspectives, is amazing. The DLC, when you went into Atlantis, was nothing short of I mean, I think that I took thousands of pictures, posted hundreds of videos on Twitter. The game is just gorgeous. It controls fantastic, and I got to tell you, the Norse mythology was made great again thanks to the team that brought us the award-winning 2018 Game of the Year God of War. What they did in Sony Santa Monica with Kratos was amazing, and what they're going to bring us now in Valhalla is going to be another epic run. I honestly watched that trailer 3 or 4 times and would easily watch it again. I cannot wait for this game.
Yeah, I started watching Last Kingdom season 4, and I tweeted out about that last night. Because if you haven't watched that, fantastic show. And so I even showed my wife. I was like, man, this is like right up the alley of where they're going with Valhalla. So I showed her, and she's like, maybe I'll play that. And she doesn't really play games. So,
nice.
Dan, I know we've talked about Assassin's Creed Odyssey a ton, and I know you loved it and put a ton of time into it. Did our review, if I recall, for?
I think so. Yep.
Yeah, I think you did. Did you end up finishing the DLC for it?
I am on the last one.
Okay.
So there's 3, I think. Well, no, let me take that back. There's 2 different DLCs that are split apart into like different pieces, I think. I can't remember exactly how it works. I'm on the last piece. I finished everything else.
Yeah. I know you loved it.
Yeah, it was fantastic. I've always been a big Assassin's Creed fan since number 1, except for 3. I can't talk about that. But everything else has been amazing. And Boom's right. You know, with Origins, you know, you could see it where it was about to start going. I think it could have been more fleshed out, and I think they did that with Odyssey.
Agree.
That hit, I mean, everybody was just like, okay, this is where it needs to be. And if they were going to expand on that, and like Boom said again, you know, the whole Norse thing and the Viking thing is very popular right now between God of War and Hellblade and just all that. You know, this might be the one I'm more excited for than any other game, aside from The Last of Us and Cyberpunk, obviously.
And Halo.
No. And
I'm gonna keep trying.
You're gonna keep trying. I'll play Halo. Don't get me wrong. But this one, I've always liked these kinds of games. I've always liked these third-person, you know, kind of action adventure, and now they're adding in RPG elements. I mean, it's basically the whole package, and they've got 15 studios.
It's unbelievable. It's like their whole global presence.
Insane. So I mean, they've got a lot riding on this, and you know, maybe take 2 of those studios to Boom's point and put them on a Splinter Cell game. You know, 13 studios seems like plenty, but it's just there's so much that's going to be coming out, you know, out here shortly, I think, and this one's jumping up to the top of my list. Thankfully, it looks like it's coming out after Cyberpunk, so I'll have plenty of time to you know, run through that 3 or 4 times. So we'll see how that goes. But it's gonna be
Yeah, I'm with you. I wasn't a big Assassin's Creed fan as the franchise has gone on. I got more into it with Origins, and as you said, you kind of see where it's going. Odyssey is the one that really changed it for me. To Boom's point, I don't hold it to the same level as Witcher 3, but it's up there. It really is a fantastic game. And the more I played it, the more I loved it. And you know, I think with a few tweaks and basically what I'm hearing out of Valhalla, and we'll go through some of these details that I jotted down this morning, I think this could be one of my favorite games in a long time. So let's touch on some of these things about the actual game. And I don't know if you guys have looked all this stuff up, but so you're going to be able to lead raids against fortresses and Saxon armies. So there's going to be like a strategic element about it. They talked about deep customization and loot, and your fighting styles can change. You can be ranged, you can be an assassin, you can be up close, and you can be, you know, like a berserker with dual weapons. You can be sword and shield.
Wow.
All these other different ways you can build. There's going to be a world influence and RPG mechanics around that. So as you kind of conquer areas and depending on the decisions you make, you're going to impact the world around you. You build your own settlement, so you can build structures. There's going to be things like blacksmiths in your structure where you can modify weapons. They have tattoo parlors. Obviously, tattoos and kind of body, changes are big in the Viking culture. And then this is really cool. I hadn't heard this until I looked it up this morning. You can create your own mercenaries that you can then allow your friends to use, and they'll join your friends' games in their armies. So like I'll be able to create a not Ainsley character, Viking, and Dan, you can take him with you on your journey. He'll just show up in like your army as you're doing these raids and stuff, which is crazy to think about.
Yeah, he's gonna be my cannon fodder.
You decide who to send in. It's just gonna be me. It's gonna be one guy running straight at the fort.
Real quick, and then we'll just kind of see what happens.
I'll take them on, man. I've gone berserker rage. So anyway, this sounds, we talked about how expansive the Odyssey world was. And some of the things I personally loved about Odyssey, I really love getting into the mythological aspects, like the fights with the Medusa and what was it, the Minotaur?
The Minotaur was great. The giant.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the giants. So those things are great. The fact that they're diving even more into that, but these other elements, I mean, this easily, to your point, I know both you guys said you put over 200 hours in Odyssey. This sounds like one of those games that's going to be hundreds and hundreds of hours.
Yep.
Oh yes, without a doubt. So
Hidden Blade is back. The ability to kind of play as an assassin is back. I know some of the people kind of missed that. Out of all this stuff we're talking about, what kind of excites you the most about the possibilities here?
Dan, you want to take that away?
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, the Hidden Blade is a huge for me because I mean that's kind of one of those things that was pure Assassin's Creed. It was always just stabbing somebody in the back or when in the middle of a fight when you shoved it through their face. It was super visceral. It was super fun. I sound kind of like a psychopath, but it's that kind of thing. It's really a sum of everything. It's the potential to be one of the deepest RPGs, action RPGs, I should say, in a long time, and they've got the manpower behind it. Obviously, they've got the talent. We've seen it before. As long as they don't make it super Ubisofty, the web blanket. But it's like I said, it's top right now. It's up there with Cyberpunk and Last of Us right now as far as anticipation goes.
I'm with you. It jumped up there for me. I mean, I've said many times it's Halo, Cyberpunk, and Last of Us are the big three for me, but this is probably number 4 now, without a doubt. So incredible. Boom, anything in particular you're looking for here?
I want to throw this out there because, like any Assassin's Creed, at least now with since Odyssey, they give you the ability to make a male or female. But there was one particular instant during the video that I threw this out there during one of my shows. I think it was Primetime Gaming, and that people didn't really see this and they had to go back again and watch it. I was wondering if you might be able to play from 2 different perspectives, both the English and the Viking and the Norse.
I was thinking the same thing.
And the reason why I say that is go back and watch the video and look how they superimpose on the knight that's down, and they show him getting up to fight, and then they pan from him to the other side of the battlefield with the Viking attacking. So I'm wondering if there is something that they're saying, but they're not really saying. Could you imagine? That'd be a 400-hour game, unless, of course, throughout the title, you play from different perspectives.
Yeah, that would be amazing. I was thinking the same thing because this is a significant part of history, and there are 2 perspectives there. And being English, not saying we were right, but it'd be kind of funny to at least be able to play both sides, right, and see what that looked like. So.
Oh, absolutely, dude.
So welcome, guys. Pixel, Dreadpool, Felony. Good to see you guys, man. Thanks for joining up. Badass Lord Tipsy was talking about Rise. I know that always comes up when we're talking about things of this vein. And yeah, I know Dan, I don't think we talked about that before, right? Not a big fan, but I think that game, the IP had potential. they could have broadened that out and built it a different way. But that's a whole nother topic.
Mhm.
So anyway, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, the thing I wanted to kind of lead us into here is some good news, right? Is that this showed Holiday. The trailer for it did show the Series X, so it obviously looks like Xbox has the marketing rights for Assassin's Creed again.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And as we all know who have played it, if you played Odyssey on the Xbox One X, it is stunningly gorgeous. Absolutely beautiful game. In fact, it's one of those games where I found myself taking a screenshot, kind of like Red Dead, where every few steps. So I can only imagine what this is going to look like on the Series X. I think it's already confirmed to be 4K. It's going to be really interesting to see if they can do 4K 60 on
That's
Series
the rumor.
X.
That's the rumor.
That'd be awesome. So, and we'll get to see more of it soon. So, because they've already confirmed that gameplay, not just the CGI trailer, but gameplay is going to be shown at Xbox's the Series X showcase for third parties next week. So that is Thursday, May 7th. And excuse me. So I know kind of wanted to lead into that. We know that Valhalla is going to be shown. Can't wait to see it. Rumor right now is Cyberpunk may show up because Xbox has the marketing rights for that game as well. And we're also talking about Elden Ring, the new game from FromSoft, which I know Dan's going to be lining up for on day to day there. But and they have the marketing rights for that too, like they did Sekiro. So some big marketing deals here for Xbox, but more wanted to talk about that in just 5 days, we could be seeing new gameplay, or first gameplay for Valhalla, first gameplay for Elden Ring, new gameplay for Cyberpunk. What else from a third-party perspective are you guys kind of looking forward to from this event or expecting? Anything in particular?
Well, here's the thing. Thanks, Dan. I think what we're going to get here is look at the wording from Phil Spencer, where we're going to be showcasing third party and our other deals from around the world, right? There's something into exactly what he says that excites me, because there's two ways to look at this. As an appetizer to the Microsoft event that we're hearing is either going to be in late June or early July, and I think they're on a waiting pattern to see what Sony does, because they're going to counter Sony's event, which is supposed to be in May 13th is what we're hearing, and counter that with a bigger event to continue the market share dominance that they have. I think that we are going to get 2 to 3 second-party exclusives that are going to remain exclusive, not timed exclusives. I'm talking about exclusives like a Bloodborne type of exclusive to be displayed here on this event. I mean, again, it's easy to say, sure, we're going to get Cyberpunk, sure, we're going to get Assassin's Creed, sure, we're probably going to get Elden Ring. Easy, we know about those. Yep. It's what we don't know that excites me. Yeah. And Phil, we know, we have heard that, and Phil has said it himself, that they are working on an exclusive Japanese IP. Mm-hmm. And I don't know who that's going to be from. Is it going to be from Software? Is Elden Ring an exclusive? Not as far as we know, but could they have made it and Microsoft just paid the money for it? We don't know.
That would be pretty crazy.
It would be ridiculous, dude, because Elden Ring is going to be big.
Yeah.
But I have a feeling that we're going to be not only unbelievably impressed with the graphics and how quick things load in and out and what we're seeing on the screen, but I think we're going to be unbelievably surprised by what they have in store for their third-party and second-party marketing deals, as well as exclusives.
Nice. I agree, and certainly hope it's true. Yeah. So, yeah, Elden Ring being an exclusive would be monstrous. I doubt that would happen, but it certainly, if it did, that would be a monster. I'm really looking forward to that. I didn't really care for Sekiro as much. I finished it, reviewed it for us. I don't know. I don't think it was nearly as good as Bloodborne or the Dark Souls games, in my opinion.
Okay.
So we'll see. We'll see what comes out of Elden Ring. It just wasn't up my alley in that vein. So, Dan, anything you're looking for here? Second parties, or third party, excuse me. Any kind of deals? Anything you're expecting?
I haven't the slightest idea. I imagine we'll always see that Gollum game, I'm guessing.
Oh, yeah, the Lord of the Rings. Yeah,
I would think that they're probably got something up their sleeve.
Warner Brothers usually does market with Xbox. They have in the past.
What
and
about
that's
Batman?
right,
Batman.
How about something like that, or the 18 different games that they're supposed to be working on, Justice League, Superman, new Batman. I have no idea anymore, but anything that they show, I'm excited for. And it's just, I'm really looking forward to their one in June when they start showing the first party stuff. Because that's really I think what a lot of people want to see.
I want to see what this Xbox studios are working on, right? Yeah,
that's the big question. And
yeah,
100% this is going to happen. I would say either on the 6th or 7th. We talked about this a little bit in chat, but PlayStation will reveal either like a render of their PS5 or something that
they could do something.
Yeah, they're going to be like, we know Xbox is coming out. They always do. It's hilarious to me, and it's fine. I mean, it is what it is. It's marketing. But just like when they did like their last Inside Xbox, they showed what the controller. The day before.
Yeah.
Something again. They love to just undercut Xbox, and it's hilarious. so I'm excited to see what Sony's got up their sleeve the day or two before, or the same day when because they're gonna show you something. So
yeah, there'll definitely be something.
It's gonna be something. I don't know what it is. It's my prediction for next week.
And Sparhawk mentioned Crossfire X, which is one we've talked about as well. So I'm really interested in that as a competitive shooter guy. I'm interested to see that, and definitely to see what Remedy's working on for the single player aspect of that game too. So I don't know when we're going to see that. I know the multiplayer kind of insider test was supposed to be this summer. Whether they're on track for that or not, we'll see, but could be interesting. So this May 7th event for Xbox kind of kicks off this new thing that was announced just yesterday by our favorite person, Jeff Keighley. So Jeff Keighley announced Summer Game Fest yesterday, and this is apparently an ongoing thing between May of now, basically, and August, which is going to be kind of coordinating a wealth of different events with different publishers, including Xbox and PlayStation. And he did say that in terms of the Summer Game Fest umbrella, this Xbox event next week is going to be part of that as well. So pretty interesting here. I'm going to quickly read off, and I had it in front of me. They announced the first list of publishers that are going to be included in this, and it's the big boys. So you've got Xbox and PlayStation, you've got 2K, Activision for Call of Duty probably, Bethesda, Blizzard, Bungie, CD Projekt Red, Square Enix, EA, Private Division, Bandai. I mean, these are all the big players. And to your point, Dan, Warner Brothers is showing up there. So going back to either Batman or Gollum or something else.
Harry Potter, possibly.
That's true. Yeah, the Harry
Harry Potter that was supposed to be. Man, we saw a video of it. Bad video, but we saw a video of what looked like a Harry Potter RPG, which looked amazing. So maybe that could be it too.
Yeah, I'm not even the biggest. Nothing against Harry Potter. I'm not the biggest fan, but if they did like an RPG well in that universe, that could be a hell of a lot of fun. So, and I know, Boom, you're a big comic guy, so Dan is as well. Remind me, Boom, Spider-Man. You love that game, right?
Oh man, I platinumed it. I absolutely adored it. Now, granted, I didn't platinum it. I platinumed it this year. I did.
Oh, okay.
It's just one of those games that just I beat it and had to go back in and mop up the platinum trophy, and I did. I beat all the DLC. I don't know when they're going to show anything of it. I would imagine we're going to get a snippet of something Spider-Man related. I don't know how far out it is, but whenever it is, I cannot wait to get my hands on it. I think Insomniac did an amazing job on it, and I think what they're going to do in the sequel is going to be twice as big. And it leads to the question: when does Microsoft get their own Marvel IP, which is as an exclusive? I did a topic on that. It's something I like to revisit every couple of months because I think it's important.
Yeah. I mean, it's part of the culture, right? And what we're seeing, especially in the theater side, is, I mean, Marvel's just dominant. So I know Dan's in the same camp. Now, I have to ask the question, of course, because I don't want to be outnumbered with Dan here. Boom, are you a Halo fan?
Yes, I am.
Thank you. All right. Yeah. We can't just have Spider-Man. We got to have Halo representation as well. So keep Dan in check. All right, so this Summer Game Fest. So we know about the Xbox event. PlayStation's included, as the rumor is. They're going to have an event at Dan's point. They'll probably tease something right around Xbox's event. But the ongoing rumor right now is PlayStation's planning an event for mid-May to start maybe showing the console for the first time. And then we also know that Xbox has said that they're going to show their first party stuff in a much bigger game celebration over June, July.
Ainsley, here you go, brother.
What you got?
This is for you. The energy sword.
There you go.
Oh my god.
Yeah, see? See, he doesn't have a web slinger. Well, he might, but he's not showing the web slinger.
I actually don't have a web slinger, but I do have an energy sword. This is a metal one. My Mrs. Boomstick bought me. It's a originally crafted item. It's very hard to find. I have it displayed with all my other Halo stuff. I have a shrine to Master Chief.
There we go. See, I'm just gonna keep inviting guests on that love Halo, Dan, and we're gonna get you eventually.
No, you won't. Never. Listen, let me put out my just to put it out there. I enjoyed the single player parts of Halo, except for 4.
Whoa, 4 you're making it worse.
Okay, well, actually 5 was bad too, but I liked the gameplay and I liked the story. You know, it was like 1, 2, and 3 was fantastic. I think.
Epic, yes.
Yeah, but I'm just like I'm not like running around on Master Chief's jock or anything.
You should be.
So I should be. Yeah. I'm not, and unfortunately, but I have nothing against the series aside from 4 and 5 suck.
Do you like Destiny?
No.
Okay, you're not a Destiny fan either. Okay.
No, I don't play Destiny either.
No, we're not a Destiny show. Even when Bert was with the 3 of us, I mean, I played the hell out of Destiny 1, played Destiny 2 a little bit, but it's just not, it never struck that same chord with me that it does for a lot of people.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? I mean, Katie's got a point. Reach was amazing game.
Yeah.
Yes, Reach is probably a lot. Reach for a lot of people is right up there with like Combat Evolved and like 3.
Yeah,
for me, the top Halo 3 is number 1, followed by, of course, Halo Reach. I like ODST, fantastic game,
great game. Yep.
Very underrated game for that matter. Did not get enough props, and then you could throw in 2 and of course 1 is going to be in the top 5.
Yeah, it's a classic. Both 1, 2, and 3 changed the industry, but I won't get on my Halo soapbox, I promise. Archimedes, what's up, man? Good to see you. Thank you for stopping by.
All the way from Germany, by the way.
All the way from Germany. We had him on a few weeks ago, yeah, and I know he's been on your shows too. He's a great guy.
Yes,
great
fantastic.
guy. And if you haven't checked out his channel, he just kind of got started, but his videos are awesome, so check it out. All right, so Summer Game Fest, guys. Anything else to touch on this before we get to the next topic?
I'd like to lead or actually close with I'm making a prediction. I said it on my show, and I'll say it on your show. And if I'm wrong, I will gladly admit it. But if I'm right, I want to get the pat on the ass I deserve. Expect that the Xbox Series S is going to be unveiled with Jeff Keighley on that show.
On Thursday.
No, well, I don't know. No, not this Thursday. No, okay. I'm talking about in general. During that event, sometime
one of these events. Okay.
Yeah, one of these events is going to be a Microsoft event. You'll see either one of the team leads designing it, or you'll see Major Nelson, or even lucky enough to get Phil Spencer on there to unveil it. And the reason why I say that is because I think that second and third party are going to be this Thursday coming up. I think the one in either late June or July is going to be nothing but first-party games to really just erase the theory that Microsoft, the Xbox, has no games and they have no AAA bangers and no story-driven single-player games. I think that's what they're going to be driving that point home. And I think that the console reveal is going to be on the same way. It's going to shock a lot of people because it's going to have no fanfare and it's just going to be boom, just like December 12th. I think that's going to happen again.
Okay, that's fair. I could see that absolutely happening. So, all right. I thought you were going to say something like Jeff Keighley's going to announce his undying love for Kojima, and something was. Yeah, it's already out there. That's true. That wouldn't even be an announcement. No. Maybe they'd formalize it. I don't know. All right.
If he comes out on stage with the I Love Kojima shirt, that's it. I quit.
If he comes out on stage with that shirt and he's got like a big fat belly because he's pregnant with Kojima's kid.
Oh, no.
Fantastic. That's my prediction.
Death Stranding 2, is that where we're going with the franchise?
Yep.
All right, man. So before we get off of that, I just want to mention, and this is worth touching on, Xbox announced. So we always report on the fiscal earnings reports of these companies. And we've known for a while now that Xbox, PlayStation, and Nintendo, and we say it all the time, all three are booming, all three are profitable. There's plenty of room in this growing industry for all three of them to be successful. So the Microsoft earnings report came out this week, and some really interesting statistics. So the first, which most people looked at, was Game Pass is huge. We knew it was huge. We kind of had an inkling it was huge. We didn't realize that it was over 10 million subscribers huge. So I know we could talk about that for a while. I've touched on it many times, but it was impressive to see that they have over 10 million subscribers. If you think about PC and Xbox now going into next gen, Project xCloud ramping up, and the potential to tie Game Pass with xCloud and that digital offering is just massive. So that was really cool to see. But the one that surprised me even more was the Xbox Live monthly active user count.
Crazy numbers.
Yeah, being near 90 million. So if you weren't aware, in October of 2019, which is what, 6-7 months ago now, they were at 65 million. So we've heard that this, COVID situation obviously is booming gaming, and more people are playing and joining. But that increase is more of a user base increase for Xbox Live than they've seen in the past 2.5 years. Yes. They've seen over the last 6 months. So that is really, really impressive. It puts Xbox Live logins, monthly active users, however they measure it, up there now with PSN and Steam, not level with them, but a lot closer to them in terms of user base. And we haven't seen the new numbers. PSN may be blowing up too. So, but just found that really interesting. It's good to see the growth, and it just reiterates again, that this pandemic has really given a shock to the gaming industry more than we were already seeing.
I'll say this. What this says to me is that Microsoft, more specifically Phil Spencer, has really positioned the company to not just win now, but win going into the next generation with these new consoles. And if you think about everything that he has done leading up to this Thursday event that's coming, it all seemed, when it all seemed as if it was piecemeal, and a lot of it did make a lot of sense to a lot of Xbox fans. Like, what is he doing? And now, again, sometimes it takes a little bit longer to put that 1,000-piece puzzle together. And running a company like Microsoft and being the head of Xbox, the company and the platform and the division were in a bad look for quite some time this generation, almost the entire generation. And when he got promoted in December of 2017, he really has delivered. And if you think about how important these numbers are, you have to look at where they're going. And if they do release this week, if they release this year with the two-pronged attack, as I've named it, they are going to allow for the hardcore, which is us, everyone in this chat, to have the best console, a PC-like console at $500. And then they're going to turn around and they're going to appeal to all of the casual market, which for Sony, out of their 115 million that are out there, are probably 85 to 90 million of casuals. So if they can appeal to those casual gamers, where their box is going to be anywhere between $150 to $250 cheaper than the PS5, and offer Game Pass that includes Xbox Live, it's an unbelievable.
All their first party games.
It's crazy, dude. It is such an incredible value for, especially during this particular time in the world.
Yeah, agree 100%. And who said in chat? Cam, welcome to the show, Cam. He mentioned, good chance it grows even more because Minecraft Dungeons is out in 3 weeks, and Minecraft is one of the biggest IPs in the world. So it's gonna be a huge game for Game Pass.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Anything on this, Dan?
Man, it's awesome seeing more people game and stuff. I wish it was a different circumstance, obviously, but
right.
But it's still awesome for Microsoft. It's still awesome. Like you said, PSN's probably the same way. Steam's probably way up too.
Steam is way up. Yeah.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, and that's what you want to see. You want to see growth. You want to, you want to see it obviously during normal times as well.
Yeah,
and they were trending that way. So, it's cool to see. I want to see, what's Game Pass. It's such a ridiculous value.
It's unbelievable, and we're going to talk about the new releases just this week in a second. But yeah, it's unbelievable.
Unbelievable, man. I mean, that's the biggest thing. And once I think more people get their eyes on that, to Boom's point, like more casual gamers, and they go, hey, this is insane that I get all of this stuff, first party games, all these other games. That's obviously we've talked about in the past. That's Microsoft's, that's what they're doing. It's always been about those services. They're trying to make that, and it's gonna. I think it's gonna pay off big time for them. It already is. So we'll see. We'll see how it happens next gen. But I mean, it's all good news. It's great.
Yeah, it's all good news for us. That's the important thing, right? It's just more for us. So before we get to the new releases real quick, I did want to touch on, we did get and I skipped over it earlier because we were kind of going into Summer Game Fest, but we did get final release dates this week for Last of Us 2 again and Ghost of Tsushima, and they kind of flip-flopped a little bit. So Ghost of Tsushima moves back a month to July 17th, and Last of Us 2 is now June 19th. So basically just 1 month apart. Mm-hmm. And I know we've talked many, many times about Last of Us 2 being one of our most anticipated games, maybe ever. And I don't want to get into the leaks and the nonsense that's been happening this week. It's not worth it. I've been fortunate enough to avoid all the leaks. So
me too. Yes, me too. Yeah.
Yeah. So if anyone leaks anything to me, I will find you. Yeah. Don't doubt me showing up at your house. I will.
Shutting down chat.
Yeah. And you don't want me staring you in the face. It's not a pleasant sight. So, super excited about this and what that means, right? We're in May, so that's 6 weeks. In 6 weeks, we're going to be playing Last of Us 2 finally after all this time. So I think of those two games. I know, Dan, we've talked about Last of Us extensively, but Boom, Last of Us, you a big fan of that? And are you also looking forward to Ghost of Tsushima? I know saying first single-player games are kind of up your alley, cinematic, so these two look to be right there.
Oh, dude, I honestly cannot wait for The Last of Us 2. I cannot wait to see Ellie's evolution as an adult. I cannot wait to see what happens with Joel. Whether he lives or dies, I mean, I already kind of think that he's out of the picture. To be honest, with you.
Careful now.
I'm just saying. That's my point of view. I haven't heard anything, and I'm very fortunate. Like anything that even has the words naughty and dog, I don't click on it because I don't want to know. I don't want to know what's going on. And like you, if I see anyone
on my Twitter account, completely blocked. Because
okay, all right.
Just because of that, you can mute words on Twitter and stuff, right? Yes. So it's like Naughty Dog. Anything to do with the game, TLO, YouTube, everything is completely blocked.
Good for you, man.
PlayStation UK. See you later. Just in case, because I know people are like just putting random comments under.
They are. They're doing it on Reddit too. I mean, it's everywhere.
It's a shame. You know what, folks? Listen. Look. Even if Sony is not your company, you be a better community member, man. People have been looking forward to this game for a long time, and for your I don't know 30 seconds of fame, someone's going to read your post. Is it really worth it to be an a-hole? Don't do it. Just really, be community minded. If you want to read the leak and you want to spoil it for yourself, that's fine. But don't be that guy or gal, man, and just ruin it for everyone because that's a really shitty thing to do. But getting back to the game itself, we've seen video already. We know the game is going to be a masterpiece.
Yep.
Now, again, people are, regardless of where your ideologies fall in regards to the story, that people are saying that it's bothersome to some people. That I hear you. Maybe it's not your bag, then just don't support the game and buy it. For me, I'm interested to play through it. I cannot wait. Ghost of Tsushima is another one. It's a new IP. Sucker Punch, obviously, we know what they've done in the past. They haven't brought a new game out since since
2014. Infamous.
Yes, Infamous Second Son, which was a great game. I didn't finish it. I like the other Infamous is better than I like this one, to be honest with you. because I like the character. I didn't really care for the snot-nosed kid character. I just thought it was my bag, and that's fine. But so I'm excited to see what that team brings to the table. And again, being a huge Onimusha fan, I am like all into this. I love this era of gaming. I love the point of the samurai and whether or not because obviously they're going to be ninjas and samurai, both two different perspectives, and obviously they both look like what I expect to be released from Sony's first party 15 studios that they have, and I cannot wait to get my hands on it. My PlayStation is not going to go off the entire summer.
And it's incredible that we're getting these big of games in June and July. We usually don't see that, right? We're at the point now where we're getting blockbusters year round. It's amazing. So Dan, I know we've talked about Last of Us extensively, but Ghost of Tsushima, where do you stand on it?
I mean, as long as it's not Sekiro, I'm fine. Or Elden Ring.
Dan's not a Dark Souls fan. If you didn't pick up on that, Boom.
And that's fine. I mean, if you want to make games for a certain section of people, then it's fine. And people will buy it and people will play it. I want accessibility to my games. And this one looks to its credit, I haven't seen anything that said it's going to be that way. And I played Infamous Second Son. It was all right. It was it looks awesome. Right, and it looks like it's right up my alley. So I'm definitely going to pick it up, assuming that I don't see any reviews prior that said, yeah, this is a super unforgiving game. Like my limit is like right around Jedi Fallen Order, and and if you go past that, then it's just wasting money, wasting time for me, because I'm older. I'm not as good as I used to be. My reflexes suck ass. I'm just not where I was. 20 years ago, so that kind of stuff loses the appeal. But from just based on what they've shown so far, I'm 100% picking it up. I've already got The Last of Us 2 pre-ordered, ready to go whenever it comes out, assuming they don't delay it again.
No way did they delay it again.
Yeah,
And you're not too old. Didn't you see the video? Mike Tyson's 53 and looks like he would still kill somebody in one hit.
Yeah,
come on, you can do this.
No. Listen, I am 300 pounds of a stroke and diabetes waiting to happen. That's it, man. Like literally, I got a Monster Energy, a Diet Dr. Pepper, and a bottle of water here. I'm like on 3 different phases of drinks. It's not going to happen. So it's lucky that, there are, normal and easy modes in games, because otherwise I probably wouldn't be playing as much as I do.
Yeah, I think I've said I'm excited for it. It looks very cinematic. Looks like it's going to have a cool story. I'm definitely picking it up. I just want to see more gameplay. They haven't shown a lot of actual gameplay. They've been very careful around the way they've marketed it. And I think that Sony's built the reputation with these first-party IPs. They can kind of run off of that, and there's excitement. But, I'm a little more cautious, but that's not to say I'm not excited for it. So, P.O. says he wants Dead Island 2 already. Man, could be waiting a long time. It's already been waiting, 6 years when they first showed that thing? And it's gone to 3 different developers. Who knows what's happening with that. I think you're better off looking forward to Dying Light 2, which is going to be fantastic, by the way.
I just installed the first one this morning. Go back.
Dying Light again?
Yep.
Hit me up, because I played a lot of it, but I didn't ever beat it. So, and I have the full, the complete edition with all the stuff. So we could do that.
Let's try that.
All right. So let's talk about what we're currently playing, because it was a big release week for games. We were talking about Game Pass, and it's a hell of a week, man. So Gears Tactics, that's the reason I'm wearing my Gears hat today.
Nice.
Checking that out. Streets of Rage 4 came out for us old school heads. It's amazing. You had a game that came out of nowhere that people seem to love, and Deliver Us to the Moon.
Oh, so good. So good.
Yeah, so I want to hear about it. And then Hyperdot, which I keep on promoting, and I'm going to keep promoting it because it's an awesome little indie game made by one guy from Tribe Games, who was fortunate enough to be invited by ID at Xbox to Microsoft's E3 event last year. And I've said before, I sat and chatted with him a while, played some. And I actually talked to him just this morning, and he's going to actually join the show for an interview
nice.
very soon, possibly next week. So stay tuned for that. But let's hear. I'll talk about Gears Tactics, because I've played at least quite a bit of it now, but I really want to hear from you guys what you've been playing this week, and have you touched any of these games like Streets of Rage 4 and Deliver Us to the Moon?
Go ahead, Boom.
Oh, okay. Well, Streets of Rage 4 is wow.
It's awesome.
Wow. If you are a Sega kid and grew up on the Genesis versions of Streets of Rage, this is such an incredible callback. The artwork is perfect in every way. It is like playing an anime. It is spot on.
It's beautiful.
Controls are, sometimes when they release older games with newer versions, they ruin the control of what you remember of holding a Genesis controller in your hand. And I'm here to tell you that it is done with the most unbelievable respect for the lore and the IP, as well as the fan base that is going to love this game. I don't usually do reviews, but if I was reviewing this game, we'd get a 9 out of 10, maybe even higher. That's how great of a game. Deliver Us the Moon, unbelievable. I beat it twice.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I played it twice. I unlocked almost all the achievements. I think I'm missing like 3 or 4 of them. An unbelievable game. If you like those action adventures games, it's not a shooter. You do some laser shooting, but it's really just to cut things off of panels off and stuff. It is an unbelievable, well-told story. I think it's definitely worth your time. Hyperdot, I downloaded. I have not played as of yet, but I am playing a game that came out. I'm not sure if it was last year or early this year. One Finger Death Punch 2, which is absolutely so addicting. It's unbelievable.
Really? I've heard of it, but what's the premise?
The premise is that it's basically a Channel 5 karate film on playing with what they're just above stick figures. No real expressions, and you're just using your X button and B button to attack the left or the right, and you can get weapons and you can do super moves, and you can. It's almost like it's like an old school karate RPG, because you can level up your character, and it is. If you never heard of it, just watch some of the videos I put up on Twitter. It is so addicting. It's gross. That's how addicting it is. And I also picked up, which I haven't started, and I only paid $5 for it because I cashed in 15,000 points, which they're giving away. The Microsoft reward points are amazing. I picked up Modern Warfare 2 remastered,
the campaign.
Yeah, so I picked that up for $5 because nice. So that's a good. So those are what I'm going to be playing, and I'm currently playing.
That's awesome. Yeah, so a lot of love for Streets of Rage in the chat here. Carl, cut it out with the Mega Drive. It's a Genesis, man. It's a Genesis. But yeah, someone else mentioned, Blue Moon mentioned Hyperdot as well. Welcome to the show. Mesmo, welcome. And where is it? Someone was mentioning the sound in Streets of Rage 4 too. Like the actual beats and the music is just
fantastic.
It's such a good throwback to, like you said, to the Genesis games. So pretty amazing. Blue Moon said that actually, so that's awesome. I've been playing it in co-op with Cog actually. We played the last 2 mornings before I jumped on to work. We were playing like early morning Streets of Rage 4 together because we're both Sega kids. We were talking about how Streets of Rage 2, when that game came out on the Genesis, it was incredible. It kind of changed everything from a side-scrolling beat-em-up genre. So that's awesome, though. Dan, what have you been up to, man? You playing Deliver Us to the Moon as well?
Yeah, I don't know where I'm at technically in the story. I finished Final Fantasy VII Remake, finished Mad Max, which both were Mad Max. Let me tell you something, man. I did not know what I was missing because I started that game like 3 times, right? And I just got to, I was like, man, this seems like so much, and I was right. But in the way I usually work through open world games like that have a ton of side quests, is usually I just try to do as much as I possibly can until I get to the point where I was like, I'm just going to finish this game because I can't do this anymore. And so that's what happened with Mad Max. But it was really, really good. And I think it was free on PSN a couple months ago. So you might, if you got a PlayStation, you might have it. I don't know if it's on Game Pass. Probably not.
It was at one point. I don't know if it still is.
It's really. I mean, we kind of talked about it. I think it was last week, and it's good. I mean, it's one of those games where I'm glad I finished it. Glad I played it.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy VII Amazing game.
Yes.
I was not ready for it. I really was not even on that train. No pun intended. I was just like, this is this is not going to be my bag. I mean, I loved Final Fantasy VII when it came out, but
Did you finish it?
Yeah,
Nice.
Yeah,
the remake.
Yeah, finished the remake. Super good. Not like I said, it was one of those games kind of like Death Stranding where I wasn't really expecting to be wowed, but it's like a brand new game. I mean, if they took away Final Fantasy out of the front of it and just put whatever, like I said, whatever, put a random name in front of it, you'd be like, oh, this is a really good game. But it was awesome. Still playing We Happy Few. Really thought I finished that game yesterday. Apparently I didn't.
Nope.
I was like,
It's actually got 3. So when you think you beat it, there's 3 full stories it tells. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And I was like, okay, I got to take a break from this for a minute. So,
did you at least enjoy what you played, despite some of the hiccups?
Right. Yeah. It wasn't even the hiccups. It was just the story is really, really good.
Yes, it is.
It's just there's a lot going on, and there's like that's another one of those games where I started and didn't finish.
Yeah.
And I probably 2 or 3 times, and I didn't realize there was so much side quest content. And then I was just like, man, I'm getting overwhelmed a little bit here. Yeah. So I finished it. I was like, yeah, okay, cool. And then I was like, no, I got to take it. I was like, I didn't. So I kind of stopped for a minute. I need a little break. I'll get back to it though. And then Deliver Us the Moon, which is, that's another one. I mean, all these games kind of really surprised me. That one, it reminds me, I think was that Tacoma game.
Yep.
But like if they really made it well and not super boring, because I don't know what it was. I tried Tacoma. I was like, this might be interesting, and then it wasn't. So, but this one is they did a really good job. It looks really, really good for what it is, and I think I'm pretty close to the ending.
How long is it?
I don't know, man.
6 hours,
yeah,
7 hours.
Yeah, 6, 7 hours.
Okay.
Yeah. It depends on how, then again, I got stuck for like an hour on one part because I couldn't get the controls right. And I mean, I was yelling. People were coming down the stairs. What are you doing? I don't know. Yeah, I was just yelling because it was like really early in the game too. I was like, if this is how it's going to be, we're going to have, this is going to end.
Was it the oxygen one where you're floating around trying to get the oxygen to switch out?
It was right after that. There was a part where you have to like move. You basically have to pull out. It's got the electricity going between.
Oh, yes.
You have to kind of fly, and there's no controlling your movement.
You know what? You know how you got to. You know how I did that? Turn the entire level to the side.
That's what I should have done.
Yeah, if you turn, because I tried it that way, going up and down, you can't see. But if you
can't see anything,
if you turn the electricity poles to the side, you can sneak around like you're in a mouse trap.
Yeah, that would have been way easier.
Really easy.
And yeah, the third, because you go from first person to third person several times in that game. Yes. I was like, this would be way easier right now if this part was in third person, because then I could see my feet. And I would know not to shove them into the electricity. But eventually got past that, and everything else kind of eased up after that. There were some really cool moments too, and that's the part of it. It's just like, oh man, and the story that it tells, it's not where it's like super overwhelming and there's so much information you have to find to actually get a grasp of it. They did a really good job. Just like, okay, this is we're going to tell you this story through a few documents, but mostly like just like reliving the events through like holograms and stuff. So and there's not a ton of it, so you don't get super overwhelmed. And hopefully I can finish that either today or tomorrow. Short of that, I played a little bit of Gears Tactics. That's one of them that's we kind of talked about it. I'm not a really big PC gamer either. I do enjoy it on occasion, and I think it's a really good game, and I really have enjoyed a little bit I played of it. But I think I'm going to wait for the Xbox release because it's just more of a matter of convenience. That's always what PC gaming has been for me. I think it's got a ton of merits, but I've got a laptop. It's a good laptop, and it'll run it really well at ultra settings. It's just I have a hard time sitting there, and it also about burned the crap out of my thighs because it was sitting on the recliner.
Your laptop's working overtime.
Yeah, it was running hot, but it was running good. But it's I can see myself really digging that game.
Yeah, it's very, very cool. So that's really cool about Deliver Us to the Moon. I'm glad you played We Happy Few. I remember telling you that it's not a AAA 9 out of 10 game, but it has a good story to tell and a good personality. I actually wrote a piece a couple years ago when it came out calling it a diamond in the rough. So I always suggest people checking that out. I saw Z Black. What's up, man? He said he just bought the We Happy Few DLC. I'm guessing that is it Lightbringer, I think it's called. You can let me know.
I think, right?
Yeah, there's multiple DLCs. I know one of them's called Lightbringer. The damn Compulsion sent me a code for it, and I still have the code for the DLC. I've never played it. I just haven't gotten back to it. But I want to do that, and that's actually one of the studios. Not to get us off track, that's one of the studios I'm most interested in from Xbox Game Studios is Compulsion, because the rumor is they're making a horror game, and they are a talented studio with the proper funding. Like if you take We Happy Few and you play that game and you think if they had the proper support, time, and funding, that could have been a AAA 9 out of 10 game.
Sure.
Instead, you get people that are sitting on benches but aren't actually sitting on the bench.
Like I said, there's some hiccups in that game.
Yeah, it's hilarious. Like I took several pictures. I was just like, hey, that's really a cool trick.
The game that they're supposedly making has been compared to a BioShock meets Uncharted type of title, which
like
is going to be
adventure horror-esque elements.
It's going to be a third-person game, from what we understand, but it's going to be horror-based. And with Microsoft, obviously fitting the bill now, and them being able to bring in massive talent, I've actually been saying that right along with you, Ains, about how I think that they are one of the dark horse studios. Them and 100%. Double Fine are two studios. In Exile are another one they're working on. They're staffing up for a AAA original new IP that's going to be an RPG. Those three studios, I think, are really going to surprise a lot of people.
Yep, 100% agree. Yep. Shizno, what's up, dude? Yeah, We Happy Few is underrated, man. I think people should check it out. Blue Moon, it's set in England, got good sense of humor. It's definitely got that English 60s flair to it. So don't go in expecting a blockbuster, but if you just take it for what it is, really enjoyable game. Yep. So going back to Gears Tactics, been playing that. Really, really well done game. I really, really like it. It's definitely got that Gears personality. The character models and everything are just like Gears 5. They're stunning. Cinematics are really good. And it's a fun strategy game so far. So if you're not aware, it's actually 12 years prior to Gears 1. So it's a prequel. And you play as Kate Diaz's dad, Gabe. And if you do have a PC that can run it and you don't mind playing on PC, I would highly suggest checking it out. But it is confirmed it's coming to Xbox later this year. And it already supports controller support on the PC. So if you like your Elite and you don't want to do keyboard and mouse, but you still want to play it, you can do that right now. So definitely check that out. So in terms of what else I've been playing, I'm not even going to talk about World of Tanks because I've just been playing that. We already talked about Streets of Rage 4 and, really loving that. Me and Cog have our own save file that we're playing in co-op. The only disappointing thing about Streets of Rage 4 is it's 2-player online co-op and 4-player local. And Cog said that he spoke to Dotamo and some of the creators, and they're hoping to eventually be able to add 4-player online co-op.
Amazing, dude.
Yeah, which would be a lot of fun because it's just the more the merrier in that type of game, right? So.
Oh, jeez. Sorry.
What are you breaking over there? And then Hyperdot. I'll say again, Hyperdot's one of those kind of rhythmic, just movement games. It's got a really cool soundtrack, very simple to play. It's just fun. It's fun and relaxing. It's one of those games where, like, if you've got 10 minutes and you just want to chill for a minute, throw Hyperdot on. You can play levels in like 30 seconds or even less. It's just, it's really cool.
Yeah, I played a little bit of that too. And it's really cool. Also, probably controller throwing inducing. That's what
eventually, right? It starts very simple, but it gets harder.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, reflexes. So it's getting to the point now where I'm just like, okay, no, I got this, you mother. I start yelling, and then I got to put it down. Then I come back to it eventually. It's really good.
Yeah, I want to play some of the multiplayer. We played some of the multiplayer at E3, but I haven't played it since it released here. But it's got all kinds of stuff you can do in that game. It's not just the single-player campaign levels. So definitely check that out. Titan, what's up, dude? Good to see you, Drago. And hey, Boom, you've got someone asking, how's Mrs. Boom? Blue Moon asked. So I know we talked about that prior to the show, but if you want to give a quick update.
Yeah, no, real quick. Thankfully the migraine has passed. It took her 3 days to get rid of it, but we did get some migraine medication from our doctor that seemed to knock it out of the way, and she's back to her chipper self. Nothing worse than having a migraine for 3 days or being as sick as she was. So thank you for asking for her well-being, and of course the well wishes that come in. Real quick, my brother is in the chat. That would be Neo Mental. He's playing Gears Tactics. He says it's amazing, I wish they would have released it at both at the same time. Also, XCOM is amazing. Both have full control support. I think that Gears Tactics is going to be a launch title for the Series X.
I would probably agree with you.
Yep, definitely.
Makes sense.
So welcome to your brother. Good to see you, Neo Mental. Thanks for joining. And the one thing I really like about Tactics, not the game specifically, right, is for years now, many of us in the community who are really big Halo and Gears fans have said, keep the mainline games going. But, man, there's so much potential for these franchises. I mean, we see the figures, we see the books, we see all the other stuff that I have way too much of around here. But, God, do an ARPG, do a strategy game, expand these universes. And it's great to see that they were able to do that with Splash Damage, just didn't even take anything away from Gears 5 or the Coalition. And they created an excellent game. People are loving it. It's highly reviewed. It's #1 seller on Steam, #1 on Game Pass.
Yes.
So it's not only #1 on the service, but it's #1 seller on Steam as well, which is amazing.
You understand how big of a deal that is, dude?
Yeah, it's huge.
How big of a deal? Steam is massive. They get hundreds of games on a weekly basis. For Microsoft and Splash Damage and, of course, the Coalition to have one of their titles #1 in Steam is massive for the companies.
Agree completely, man. It's awesome. And being a big Gears head, I mean, I just love it. I love seeing the success of this because what this obviously tells Xbox and Microsoft is this works. Do this. Build other games in these franchises. This is how you can keep it fresh. This is going to be a little off topic,
but you know what I'd love to see them do? We know that Microsoft is being a little, they're a different Microsoft.
Yep.
And with the success of Gears Tactics, I'd love to see? I'd love to see a side story of one of the Carmine brothers, kind of similar to ODST, but take that into a first person. Let's do Gears in first person. Let's check this out, and let's bring a new Halo side story into third person.
I agree there. Yeah, I agree completely.
Let a smaller team bring an ODST type title for both of these franchises. Being that they're being bold and different and aggressive, they have the talent. Take a small team and let them create a first-person perspective Gears, something never done before. Let it be a side story of one of the Carmine brothers that have been in the game since the beginning.
Yep.
And maybe take Halo and one of their less famous characters, even if you want to do something with Buck, maybe an ODST 2, but in third person. That's what I would like to see.
Yeah, go ahead, Dan.
No, I was gonna say, you could, that Carmine thing is, it would be awesome if you had like maybe it's a 20-hour campaign.
Yes.
Third person, right? But you have only 10 lives, each of which is a different Carmine, right? And if you waste them all by like the halfway point, you've got to start all over.
Oh my God, that is so. You basically, if you die, you wipe out the entire Carmine line lineage.
Yeah. Whenever that last Carmine dies, you're finished.
Oh, I love it. This is great.
That's awesome. What's up, Megatron? Thanks for joining, man. While we're dreaming, I think I posted this on Twitter the other day. Is I really want to see in Halo ARPG. Take that universe. You have. In Halo, you've got all these characters, all these Spartans, and all these armor customizations that actually in the Halo canon do different things. There is no reason at all why you couldn't create a Halo ARPG with missions across the universe. The foundation is there, all this different, loot you could have or RPG elements. It would be fantastic. I don't know why they've sat on this, and I'm hoping that with, as Xbox Game Studios has grown the way it has over the past couple years, that they've got some of these things in the works. So we'll see. All right, man. So we're about to wrap up here. Boom, it has been awesome having you on for the first time. It will not be the last time, I can promise you that. And I know we often try to sync up on me getting on your shows. Just so damn busy during the week with work, man. But when I can make it, I do. Always have a good time. So before we kind of give our closing comments, closing arguments, I wanted to let you shout out, Boom. So call out whatever you want to call out. I know we touched on your shows at the beginning, but what'd you like to shout out for?
Well, I mean, this Tuesday, we're doing a special edition episode of the Xbox Factor podcast. It's going to involve Mr. Badbit, Insipid Ghost, Zemi Games, Box Bear, which obviously is Archimedes, and one other special guest. And we're going to do a show that's probably going to be around 60 to 70 minutes. It's going to be our Microsoft May digital event predictions show. So hopefully we get a lot of people to tune in for that. You can get our opinions on what we think and what we want to happen at this third and second party event. And next week is going to be, we're doing a post show on Thursday of the Xbox Factor podcast. We're going live directly after Microsoft does their digital event. We're going to break down everything that happened there. And of course, you can expect primetime gaming on Monday evening at 8 p.m. And of course, Breakfast with Boom on Friday morning at 10 a.m. And, you know, obviously it's going to be a lot of stuff to talk about next week. Tune in, and I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised with some of the guests I'm going to have on the show.
That's awesome, man. You got a busy week ahead.
Yes, you do. Each and every week, I love it.
yeah. Busy but fun, right? It doesn't feel like busy work when you're having fun doing it. So
yeah.
So, all right, man. Well, it's been an absolute pleasure. A couple other things I want to shout out real quick is, like I mentioned earlier, I spoke to the developer of Hyperdot earlier today. His name's Charles McGregor, and I've talked to him about coming on the show for like a partial interview. So he would be kind of start the show with the interview, and then we'll go into our normal Bitcast format. But talking about just the road to getting that game created, the experience with ID at Xbox, and how that was for him. I talked to him about some of these things last year at E3, but it'd be great to have him on the show and have people be able to ask him questions live that, you know, we could talk about. And then if you missed it, there is an excellent article highlighted on our site right now from Carl Dwyer, who was in the chat as well, on PlayStation, and giving the perspective of where they sit currently in the generation, what we can expect, you know, going into next generation, what we know about the PS5. Really knowledgeable, well-written article. So check that out if you haven't, please. Otherwise, Dan, anything you want to call out?
Yeah, so I'm going to be on the gaming perspective tonight.
Nice.
8 Eastern with Nick, I think Sam, Eric, Jared. I think those guys all do it still. So yeah, I mean, I've been listening to their show. Good friends, good guys. So that should be on tonight at 8. Other than that,
is that 8 Eastern?
Eastern, yeah.
Okay.
Somewhere on YouTube, I think. I have to learn how to use Discord. We used it one time, I think, for something. I don't.
Yeah, we used it for something because I showed you how to get into it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, this is my tech skills. As limited they are. But yeah, other than that, man, Boom, it was great having you on, man. Thank you for coming.
Oh, thank you, dude.
Appreciate it.
Always great to talk.
You definitely got to get you on one of the shows, dude. So we'll work on the DM for that.
Yep.
Yeah, it's always great to. I say this with our guests, Boom, and I'm pretty selective about the people we have on, but just great to talk about people who have been around gaming for generations and really appreciate everything that comes with the industry. So thank you again for showing up. Love it, and obviously we're always talking. So
yes,
I'll be in touch.
Excellent.
Chat, thank you guys, man. You guys are awesome. I have to say it. I don't know why you spent money on us. We're not worth it, but I appreciate it. Usual cast of characters. Great seeing you guys. Love seeing the show grow. It's been a lot of fun moving this to live. And I think it's probably one of the best decisions we've made for the show. And I don't know about you, Dan, but it's just been a lot of fun. We've seen growth and, good people coming on, great chat, and love the community. So thank you again. And we will talk to you next Saturday at noon. Until then.